Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are here to talk about cool tones, specifically a cool tone palette collection that came out with Colourpop. So if that is something you are interested in watching, you're in the right place. We are about to get into it.
I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf.
Alright, you guys, so Colourpop recently announced a cool toned palette collection. It basically was a cool tone palette. It also came out with a brush set, and the palette itself is in the same vein that the Bare Necessities palette was launched. If you guys will remember this palette, this was like a nude palette that was launched. A lot of warm tones in this one. This is one of my favorite palettes from Colourpop. As you can see, it has been used and abused. I really love this palette. It's right up my alley when it comes to the types of colors that I am comfortable working with. I've always been interested in a really nice cool toned palette. I've gotten a couple here and there, and it's so funny because my sister and I were just recently talking about, for those of you that don't know, my sister is a certified licensed makeup artist, and her and I own a makeup studio here in the greater Philadelphia area, and we were just having a conversation about cool tones and why is it so difficult to work with cool tones on the eye. And a lot of it does just have to do with the cool tone color scheme. It sometimes, if it's not done really precisely, and if it's blown out or blended out a little too much, you can end up looking like you got punched in the eye. It looks more like a bruise than it does a really pretty eye look, and you really have to work with cool tones until you're comfortable with them. My skill level is not all the way there yet, but I really was looking for a cool tone palette to practice with and to really work on and get in there and play with some cool tone colors just to see how my skill set evolves working particularly with cool tone colors, because they're not always colors that I often work with. And to be quite honest with you, there are a lot of palettes out there that are cool tone themed, but the majority of palettes that are out there are warm tone or nude type of palettes, so you don't see this very often. So I was really glad to see that Colourpop came out with this. Now this is called the Stone Cold Fox. So you have a lot of colors in here that are on the cooler end of the spectrum. So a lot of these kind of pastel-y colors, a lot of grays, have some of the pinks and lavenders in here as well. So it's just a much cooler toned palette. One thing that I really like about this particular palette is they have some of those micro shimmer mattes that are in here, and this formula specifically has just gotten better and better and better with Colourpop, and I really like it. And that's these colors that look like mattes until you really take a close look, and then you can see that they have some shimmer in them. I don't know if you guys can tell here or not, but I will definitely give you some close-ups so that you can really take a good look at this palette. So this retails with Colourpop for $34. The pan itself is one of their Mega 30 pan palettes. Colourpop says that Glam Rock just got a new look. This 30 pan cool tone palette is everything you need and more. Ultra cool mattes and glimmering metallics create the perfect combo to take your look from an everyday neutral to an ultra dimensional glam. And again, this is a 30 pan an ultra cool palette. And again, they have pinks in here, neutrals, silvers, gray, nudes, browns, darks, blacks, purples, taupes. There's a lot of different colors in here. The finishes range from matte, metallic to that really cool kind of matte sparkle formula. So there is quite a wide variety of finishes in the palette as well. And again, you're getting 30 pans for $34. So as always with Colourpop, when it comes to price point, I think it's really, really reasonable, and I really like it. The outside of the palette is really cool. It has this kind of like faux, it's like a stone wall is what it looks like. It looks like it's like a stone wall is what the outside of it looks like. It's really neat. It has the same feel that the Bare Necessities palette had. It does have all of the shade names on the back as well. And of course, the one thing I'd love to see in this palette is a big old mirror right here. I think that would just, it's always nice when you have a giant palette like this to have a really big mirror that goes with it. And I would have liked to have seen that with this, but they didn't do that with the other one, so I'm not going to really hold them to it. And it's a $34 palette, so you definitely get what you pay for. But in this case, I think that the formula and the color story, the whole thing is really, really cool. No pun intended. I do want to get into some swatches with you though, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about with these cool tone shades. So take a look at the swatches here. So instead of going from like left to right like most people do with this particular palette, I am going to go from top to bottom, because I do find that the way this color story is lined out, it makes more sense to go in top to bottom rows than it does to go from side to side. So we're going to start that way. The first row, you'll notice you have a lot of different mauves. This is where you're going to get your light pinks, your light purples, and you're also going to get your first look at the matte shimmer formula. There's also a metallic in here, and then of course 3 beautiful mattes. The second row, you'll see that you have a lot of these kind of nude brown colors in the second row. Beautiful colors in here. You also have another metallic in here and another look at truffles, which is a beautiful brown matte with some blue micro shimmer in it. Your third row is where you're going to get some of those stone colors, some of those browns and grayish kind of colors. I do love the metallic that's in this row, and of course the mattes are beautiful as well. In the fourth row, you are going to see the gray, the silver, the black, and also one of the shades in here that I really like is Dreamful. It's a white matte formula, but it's not just a white matte. It has this beautiful micro shimmer sparkle to it. It looks really, really stunning. Rock Bottom is a beautiful black. It's just a really deep matte black, and I really, really like it. Now, in the fifth row, these are some taupes, so you are going to see some of those really pretty cool toned taupey type colors, and then you have a deeper darker brown in the Drama Mama. These are two of my favorite shimmer shades in the palette, are in these two rows. Really, really like it. And then on the very last row, you have some of the a bit of the deeper mauves, not as pinky, and a little bit more towards the purpley. So you'll see that you have more of these plum colors. Then you have Ghost Town, which is more of this kind of hazelnut type of a color. I love Nice Guy. It is this beautiful mid-tone rose. It has this golden kind of flip to it, so it has these golden high points to it when it shifts in the light, and I think it's absolutely stunning. So that's the last row. So if you kind of just take a look at the palette, as opposed to going from side to side, that's why I wanted to go up and down, because the rows themselves are a lot more cohesive when you look at it like this, and you can get a complete eye look by just working in a row. So like just working like in this row or even in this row. I really, really love the taupe row. I think it's gorgeous, but I have to say one of my favorite shades in this is the Nice Guy shade because I love the flip that's in that duochrome, and I also really, really like the micro shimmers. So Truffles, Dreamful, I really love those. I also really, really like Enigma because I'm a sucker for a really good kind of cool tone brown. Great transition color. It's a beautiful kind of hazelnut type of a color. A lot of colors in here that I genuinely really, really like. So overall, I think this palette is a hit. Now, it did launch with a brush collection, just like the Bare Necessities did. Stone Cold Fox also comes with its own brush collection. So I did want you guys to take a look at that as well, and we'll see if that one is worth the purchase too. All right, you guys, so this is the Stone Cold Makeup Brush Kit. It comes in a roll just like this. It's a really nice, it's that vegan leather type of feeling to the roll itself, and then it just has the leather wraparound in order to secure it. It says Colourpop right here, and yeah, it feels just very, very similar to the Bare Necessities brush roll. Now, where these products differ is definitely inside the roll. It differs a lot with the brushes themselves, and a lot of people thought that they were just going to be the same brush roll, just a different color collection. That's really not the case, and I'm not really sure why the price difference, but if you'll remember in the Ultimate Brush Roll that came out with the Bare Necessities palette, it came out with 11 brand new brushes and 3 of the all-time favorite type of existing Colourpop brushes. So that's 14 brushes altogether in that roll. Those were kind of a nude pink with a lighter or off-white or cream bristle with like a rose gold ferrule, if I'm not mistaken. I'll make sure that I put a picture of it up here somewhere for you guys to just take a look at. And that one retailed for $44. At the time, it's a huge collection. It's $44. Price point's not bad. The Stone Cold Makeup Brush Kit only retails for $32. So it's significantly cheaper. And in this brush roll, you actually have 15 brushes. And the biggest difference is, of course, the color. So we do have a different color layout in this particular brush roll. Now, the brush roll itself is the same, so it has that same flap, but there you can kind of see the differences in the actual layout of the color story. So the bristles on these brushes are an ombre bristle, so they go from this kind of cool stone colored shade that's also on the handles up to white, and then you have the chrome type of silvery ferrule. So, these are, again, they wanted to stick with those cool tones, sticking with a very kind of taupe gray type of outlay, which is nice. I like it. I think it's very sleek. I like the bristles being ombre. I think that's nice. The bristles themselves are soft. They do feel very synthetic, which I think is consistent with Colourpop overall. So if you like Colourpop brushes, then I think you will like the Colourpop brush set itself. It doesn't seem like they have veered too much from the consistency of the way that they make their brushes. The only thing that I felt like was missing from this particular collection, which I remember being in the Bare Necessities collection, was they had several of the blending brushes. So they had like fluffy blending brushes and then like the skinnier crease brush. This is the only tapered tip fluffy blending brush in the entire collection. You get that one, and then you have, kind of this flat oval blending brush, but that's it. That's the only blending brushes that you have for the eyes in this collection. The other ones that are for the eyes are all smaller. They're all smudger, pencil, probably inner corner brushes, and then you also have obviously a liner brush for your brows, and then a very, very tiny packing brush, or I would actually probably use this more for spot concealing on the face. That's probably what I would use that one for. And I'm not sure if that's why this collection is cheaper, because it seems as if not only in my opinion, I think the bristles in this collection are just a little bit more on the plasticky synthetic blend side, but still very, very soft. I still really like them, and I still think that they would be effective at blending. These are the face brushes as well. So you have a big powder brush, and then you have your smaller powder brush, blush brush, contour brush, highlight brush probably, and probably an under eye brush or highlight brush, however you want to use it. Don't really see a foundation brush in here, although you could probably use this one as a foundation brush. So yeah, I mean, I think it might have a lot to do with the selection of the brushes. It doesn't seem like this particular collection has as many useful brushes in it as the original collection, and I really like the original collection, and I get that it's expensive, and if you're going to look online and just make a decision on which one you would get, you would think, well, I'll just go with the one that is a little bit less expensive. Makes sense. But when you get into the details of it, there are differences in the two. I will say one really glaring difference is there's only 3 face brushes in the original, the very first makeup roll that came out with the Bare Necessities palette. The rest of them were all eye brushes, and there was a lot of nice fluffy blending brushes in there, smaller detailing blending brushes in there, whereas it seems like the Stone Cold makeup brush kit is a good split. You have about half of them are for the face, and then the other half are for the eyes, so naturally you're going to have a more limited selection when it comes to eye brushes. So if you want more of a balance of brushes, then definitely I would go with the Stone Cold roll. If you want something that's very eye focused and very eye specific, then I would go with the Ultimate brush roll that came out with the Bare Necessities. I personally, from an aesthetic perspective, as far as just the way that they look, I prefer the original, the Ultimate brush roll. I really liked that collection, and I was excited because the way they pushed that one out, they were like, we have 3 brushes in here that are best sellers from our existing brush collection, but 11 of these brushes are brand new, and we've just created them for this brush roll, and that got me really excited about that particular collection. This one is just, it's like a pretty set of existing Colourpop brushes, and I definitely don't think that's a bad thing. I think that if you are a beginner, or if you're somebody that's kind of just starting out and you really don't need like really good quality brushes, then I think this probably offers just about anything that you would need to complete a look on the face. I think this would make a really pretty Christmas present if you have that girl out there that's really into like leg warmers and Starbucks and all things rose gold and nude. She would probably really like something like this together with the palette. This would be a great Christmas gift. But overall, I think I really was impressed with the palette more so than I was the actual brush roll that comes with it. I prefer the original one to this one. So the palette, definitely a hit. I would absolutely recommend that you go out and grab that one and play around with it. I know cool tones can be a struggle for all of us, but practice makes perfect, and this is something that you love, then definitely get it. It would be worth the investment to have a really big cool tone palette in your collection. So I think that one is a hit. Let me know what you guys thought about this particular collection, what you guys think about cool tone colors in general, working with them. Do you struggle like I do? Let me know in the comment section down below. Listen, as always, thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. I did want to talk to you guys about some changes coming up on the channel. I do want to start doing like a live stream show kind of once a week where we just sit and chat about all things makeup and just kind of have a night where we sit and talk about the drama. We can talk about new launches, drama in the community, holiday launches, our favorite stuff on Amazon currently. I have all kinds of topics that I can't wait to talk to you guys about. So I will be letting you guys know in the next few videos once I get that schedule ironed out when those lives are going to start, but I am going to start making that kind of a regular thing here on the channel. Again, I'm really excited to be back, and I'm so glad to have you guys back here with me. I love our community, and I love you guys. On that note, I am out of here. Listen, I hope you guys are all very, very happy and very, very healthy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Mwah.